G'day there folks, and welcome to our little video series, The Resurrection of Lois. My name's Paul Card, but who's Lois, you ask? This is Lois. The boat I named Lois when I first purchased the boat back in 2009. It was a great boat, one of the best boats I've ever had for a general purpose, does everything. It's been 95 k's offshore, and we've even fished in less than a metre of water, chasing bream and flatties in the flat waters down at Malakuta. It's done it all. It's the most versatile boat I've ever owned. However, it hasn't been started, unfortunately, since, well, for 2 years, since the good folks down at P&J Marine gave it a service. It came back to my house and it's sat on my front lawn. Don't get me wrong, it's been a magnificent garden ornament, but it's time to get this thing back on the water. Now, one of the problems you have when you let a boat sit for so long is that everything starts to fail. And it's not just the looks of the boat that starts to fail. Obviously, you've got problems with your motor, you've got problems with your fuel lines, you've got problems with your electronics, you've got problems all round. Now, what we want to try and do is show you that it's pretty easy to get it back on the water again once it's sat for some time. It's a pretty simple exercise that we hope to share with you over a video series over the next few weeks. And we're going to start with getting it cleaned up. So we want to make sure that there's been no damage to the hull, to the gel coat, to the top part of the boat here. So we need to clean all the crud off it, and there's a lot of crud. There's everything on this thing. It used to be black and white, believe it or not, folks, this boat. Now it's a lovely shade of green, grey, off-white and black. And we need to clean off some of this grey and green. There's a lot of mould, there's a lot of mildew, there's a lot of algae, and believe it or not, folks, that shit that grows on your roof lichen, well, I've got it on the dashboard. We need to clean all that stuff off so we can get a good idea of where we need to start. Now, what we do know is that all 4 batteries in this boat are dead, so we've got to replace 4 batteries. What we do know is that we've had a lot of water sitting in this boat for a long time. So we need to look at all of the wiring behind the scenes that you can't see. What we also know is that it's a fair bit of fuel sitting in the fuel tank. That's no good. That's got to come out and get disposed of. The fuel lines are rotted. The vapour chamber in the boat's going to be like a chewing gum or a toffee consistency, a mix of fuel and water. There's fuel filters to replace. There's a lot of stuff to do. So what we're going to do is slowly, bit by bit, do everything we need to do to get this boat back to its former glory. Now, as I said, it was a magnificent boat in its time. Right now, it's worth about 15 grand in parts, but recommended retail when it was new was about $60,000 on the water Australian. So we're going to put a heap of stuff into the motor. This is going to get tidied up, going down to inked off detailing down in Seaford. They're going to give this thing a good clean. Then it's going to go to my good mate Dale McClellan, who's going to look at the rewire and the install of the new sounder GPS unit, courtesy of Lawrence. And this part, the seats, they've got to come out and get reupholstered. So as you can see, when you let it sit for some time, everything breaks down and dies. And there's a lot of work, folks, to get this thing back to where it was. So let's start with having a beer and enjoying the boat while it goes on its journey, because I won't be joining it for all of it. I'm going to do as much as I possibly can on my own, but I'm far from, look, I'm a truck driver, folks. I'm far from a boat mechanic or a boat repairer, but I'll do my bit where I can. Today, I'm going to reverse this back into the driveway. We're going to place all the trailer lights, because as you can imagine, those things are stuffed, and I can't take it out on the road until I get these trailer lights fixed. The brakes are seized on, so I need to take the wheels off and I need to free those hubs up so as we can get it moving along. Once we get it moving along, it goes down to inked off detailing. It starts there. So come with us for the ride, folks. We're going to hopefully bring this thing back to what was once a magnificent fishing vessel. We're going to get rid of the mould, the mildew. We're going to get rid of the grass that's growing in the engine well. We're going to get rid of the tree that's growing in the front hatches, and we're going to make it something that's float worthy again. If you've got any questions along the way about how we've done stuff, please drop lines into the comments and we'll chase them up where we can. We're going to enjoy the ride. I hope you guys enjoy it too, and I hope you get something out of it, and we can show you that it's not that difficult to put a boat that has sat for so long back on the water. So whether you've sat through hard times or whether you've just been a bit lazy, we want to be able to get these things back floating for you. So stick around, folks, as we go for the ride.